Welcome everyone. Welcome. Good morning everyone. Good morning everyone. Welcome to Physics Wallah. OPSC Wallah tarafru, as we know, these are the exclusive batches offers जोटा कि हमर चलची महापैक रे you are देहा होची that is only 4999 रे जोटा actual price जब देखिबो it is near about 10,000. So also Sarv Saksham batch जोटा civil service ପାଇଁ 2024-26 तार validity. It is also your 4999 and your another is your सबुठी important वर्तमान जोटा कि आरंभ होची ASO since ASO रो काफी 3 वर्ष परे पाखापाखि आसी. Again it is only 1299. And if you see the Adhyayan batch also, this is for this is also 999, and Jabaaz batch for Odisha police, that is also 999, and Mukhya OPSC mains batch जो कि वर्तमान that is running, that is also 2499. So इतने गुड़ाए जब भी हमें देखिवा कोर्स गुड़ा and that to be in a very affordable price, so definitely it will work magic in your preparations. And समस्ते तो गोटे गवर्नमेंट जॉब में समस्त गोटे ड्रीम था. So definitely your OPSC वाला तरफ रू जोटा प्रोवाइड कराई छी, definitely it will work a magic. Okay, so आज जब देखिए आंसर राइटिंग सेशंस रे हमरो अछि ता पूर्व हम कहबे कि आज today to it's my all my extended good wishes for the International Women's Day, which is usually celebrated in 8th March. So सेति पई PW OPSC वाला तरफ रू समस्तन को there is an हार्दिक good wishes और शुभकामना समस्तन को. Okay, so actually जदि कहबा कि women are the real your embodiment of all powers, and they have given the society to a next level, that is things. So we should respect women, right? अच्छा आंसर राइटिंग बैच रे आंसर राइटिंग बैच जेतो हम जानछन YouTube रे this is an for it's an guidance to everyone, so that I can everyone can watch and guide. This is completely we are it's an designed for and free to everyone. You're catering the knowledge in a without your without any you're completely free हम कहि परिबा. अच्छा आगु जीवा. अच्छा एटी देखियो हमें दिस इज तमरो इंडियन इंडस्ट्रीज ऊपर आज हम देखियो इंडस्ट्रीज ऊपर इंडस्ट्रीज सबुठ बड़ जिंस ला कि इंडस्ट्री रे इंडियन इंडस्ट्री very important. Indian industries कौन industries जदि हम देखिबा industries plays a very vital role, right? Industries plays a very vital role. Industries जदि हम देखिबा this plays a very vital role in Indian progress रे. Industries रा कौन थिबो industry जदि हम देखिबा कि they are the backbone of any country, backbone of economic development. मैं कौन लिखि परबे they are the backbone of any country's backbone of economic development, backbone of economic development, backbone of economic development for any country, for any country. Industries कहीं कि जदि हम इंडिया रो पास्ट को जीवा ताले हम देखबा कि these industries जतरा हमर देश स्वाधीन हला ता परे these industries play a very vital role for shaping the India's need. जेमती 1947 रे India got freedom, right? India got freedom केबे हेतला independence, that is 1947 रे. After 1947 जदि हम देखिबा कि there is a huge demand of your country's GDP growth, economic growth. So that is why सही समय कि industry has a plays a very vital role. आज किछि जिंस भी लिखिबा, ओके किछि जिंस आज लिखिबा भी पर्टिकुलरली जदि हम कहबा कि राइट. अच्छा फर्दर पुनी देखिबा कोन हमर इंडस्ट्रीज ऊपर इंडस्ट्री जदि तुम देखुछो एनीवन कैन से कि इंडस्ट्री रो कंट्रीब्यूशंस कोन कंट्रीब्यूशन तो हमें जानले कि जीडीपी आउ कोन हे परिबो इट गिव्स प्रोवाइड्स एम्प्लॉयमेंट. ओके इंडस्ट्रीज आल्सो प्रोवाइड योर एम्प्लॉयमेंट. जदि गोटे न्यू इंडस्ट्री लिखिमु बेटर रहबो कोन कोन हे परिबो we'll discuss just a minute. कौन कौन ହେଇପାରିବ ଯଦି ଦେଖିବା କି when sorry when an industry when an industry established ଯେତେବେଳେ କଣ ହବ when an industry established in a region what happens କଣ ହବ ଗୋଟେ region ରେ ଆମ ନିଜର ଓଡିଶାର କଣ୍ଟେକ୍ସଟ ଆମେ ଦେଖିବା କହିବା କଣ କହି परियो ଗୋଟେ established in a region when an industry established in a region it leads to massive employment generation it leads to massive कौन हबो massive economic it leads to generate लिख परिवा गुड लाइन leads to generate massive economic opportunities right economic opportunities massive economic opportunities हम कहि परिवा massive economic opportunities. Supravat, I'd love, how are you? Sir, could you please explain briefly regarding how an agrarian country like India transitioned to an industrial nation? Of course, bilkul, I'd love. Okay. Let me jot down some few points. I'll be back with this ones, right? These are massive to generate the massive economic opportunities. And कौन have massive economic opportunities like कौन रहेगा that is we can say direct and indirect employment कौन है परियो केमती तमे गोटे approach नो direct and indirect employment है परियो service okay transport industries okay booming है transport industries booming रहा then third रे जदि हम देखिबा services industries rapidly increase in the locality in the region. So these are the main factor where economic employment generation, right? Industry would establish. So for example, if I say the Tata Steel, Tata Steel, right? Or let's say Tata Steel Tata Steel in Jajpur, Tata Steel in Jajpur district, we can say. Duburi area re कौन हो? So Duburi area re कोटी अच्छी Duburi. So say region जोड़ा कि still I remember the region was mostly it was dense forest, hardly accessible. After 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock, people scared to pass through that area. But now if you see there is a massive change. Okay, it is all because of this. This is how what the generally as per Jawaharlal Nehru he said it that it brings a rapid progress, right? Industries. Okay, that is why after your independence, your 5-year plan in the successive 5-year of to till first, second, third, fourth, your priority was given to this industrial boom. Okay, I'm taking I'd love questions. Sir, could you please explain briefly regarding how an agrarian economic country like India transition to the industrial nation? Okay. So India was before 100 years back. See, still we are reaching at the celebrations of 78 years of independence. Let's say, right, 77 or 78 years independence. If I go to the before your independence, means I mean during the colonial setup, India was primarily an agrarian economy. right? Questions adla approach how how and questions how an agrarian country like India how an agrarian country how an agrarian country like agrarian country like India transition to transition to industrial economy. Transition to industrial economy. How? Very subjective questions. How? This is a long history. We can say it's a long history, right? How an agrarian country like India transition to industrial nation or industrial nation, we can say. Sorry, it is industrial nation something like industrial nation. How come? Primarily, I am just कहवा कि primarily before independence, India was completely dependent on agriculture. India's economy. India's money. India was dependent money. India's economy. Economy. Even after independence, 80%, more than 80% of our economy, of our economy was agriculture oriented or dependent, whatever this is. ठीक अच्छी मतलब माने even independence ପରେ भी more than 80% of our economy was your dependent माने at least 10 years we can say the first जदि कहबी कि 5 to 10 years पर्यंत the scenario was like this one. It was very sluggish growth till 5 to 10 years even after independence, even after your independence. This was the real scenario what happened. So it is a gradual process. Today we have reached India achieved an industrial your nation's status. It is an eventual process, we can say. It was a very slow pace because at that time India बहुत सारा population was growing. There is a heavy demand. Economy was highly sluggish because the Britishers was almost plundered us. सब लुटी नहीं पड़े. Okay, so that was a requirement. So that is why the most of during that time the 5-year plans. कौन थिला? 5-year plans, right? During that time रे कौन थिला? 5-year plans. FYP ताको कौन थी? That is your 5-year plans. 5-year plans was basically okay. 5-year plans was your major. Particularly it was then. It was only till 2015 when the after arrival of your Modi ji. Okay, 2014-15 it has changed to the Niti Aayog. Okay, that's a separate part, but this is your 5-year plan. हमें जान ले कि 5-year plan was basically okay. 5-year plans was there. अच्छा, आगू बढ़िया पुनी कि 5-year plan हेबा द्वारा कि normally कहाँ पे focus करा गया? Primarily focus which are the sectors? The industries one it's a very vast. We have mainly focused in the iron and steel industries. Okay, because rapid economic achievement, rapid economic achievement, we can say rapid economic achievement. Okay, iron and steel industry was focused. Iron and steel Okay, iron and steel industry was focused, mainly focus karala, mainly सब focused there, mainly focused iron and steel industries because production is more. Okay, demand ए जिनस उपरे यहाँ पर बेसी thrust पड़ला this iron and steel industries उपरे. So eventual process रे then जल्दी देखिबा कि India then go for transitions for where you're moving towards the automobile sector now. India is one of the largest manufacturings of your automobile sector in the world. Largest manufacturing sector. This is also highest revenue generated also जल्दी हमें देखिबा कि automobile sector. Now India is also entering to your जल्दी देखिबा हमें कि renewable part तो गोटे अलग जोरा कि एबे current 15 years अब आसिला 10 to 12 years अब and जदि हमें देखिबा कि agro based industries India is also agro based industry बहुत आगे अछि. Okay, pharmaceuticals, so there are lots of things that it's an eventual process and it took almost 75 years after the independence ए 2-3 वर्ष अब जोटा कि हमें we have gotten this कुछ दिखा माने दिखता है कुछ माने internationally we have recognized as an industrialized nations like Germany, US, Russia, Japan and South Korea, like these ones. Is it okay, Adlaf Babu? Is it okay, Adlaf? Any questions further? So it's an we can say it's an eventual process that India has reached this stage, we can say, right? It's an eventual process. Is it okay, Adlaf? Anything else you want? Anything else you ask? Good morning, �絵𝐿𝐾𝐈𝐀. How are you? Balo acho sobu? Adlaf declares, sir, what role did Nehru Mahalanobis model play behind the sluggish industrial development in India, whereas China, when the industrial development started much later, could surpass the India? Oh my goodness. Adlaf, तू एटा लिखुचु सिस्टम को गले जदी देखिउ ताले तते कन्फिस्केट करनबे. You cannot say, okay, जोक पार्ट हला देखो नेहरू महालनोबिस मॉडल का हमें कहि परिबनी कि it was completely an obsolete model in the current scenario, right? Adlaf, जदी current scenario रे मैं कहिबी we cannot say that Nehru and this Mahalanobis model is an obsolete model. We can say that one. Of course, it was sluggish if contemporary case रे हमें जदी देखिबा. इंडिया रे जदी हमें देखिबा कि चाइना जदी देखिबा कि whereas the China wherein the industrial development started much later. Okay, देखो major bottlenecks देखो खाली economy पाई. Don't think that the economy good आकांक्षा जदी खाली देखिबा कि economy हला economy development situations, please try to understand. Economic development situation do depends upon political environment, policies, rules and regulations, I mean laws of a country, of Indian nations, okay, laws, okay, etc. Environment, okay, we can say environment को पछरे आनुची. These are the factors that also depend. For examples, if I say political environment बहुत बड़ा important, political environment, policies, laws, okay, if I laws means if I say the judicial state. For examples, if I say a country, I am taking an examples of Syria, I am taking an country, an example of Afghanistan, I am talking an example of Venezuela, I am talking an example of Mexico. These are the, let's say, two countries I have taken in African continent, sorry, Southwest Asia, Asian country is the Southwest Asia continent, and here I am African continent भी हमें नहीं परिवा, but it ही majorly देखियो, and Latin America or South America, Latin American countries, South America or this continent. Better, I will write the South America. Let's get, I'm taking an example of two continent, right? Gote nele South America re munele Venezuela, Mexico, and here I am taking the Syria and Afghanistan. See, I'm just interrelating the economic development. It's not, it's not only it's not independent. It's a cumulative effect. It needs and totality, your cooperations from the other sectors. Like if I say we cannot say is completely independent. It is interrelated with this situations, political environment. Let's say in Syria. Syria is almost khatam. Abhi Syria mein kuch hai hi nahi, nothing else. How you can say? Because that is a political environment means, I mean, if you see this, I'm talking about this, let's say from the Southeast Asia. These countries are highly politically unstable, highly political instability, we can say. Instability. Now, if I see the African country like Sudan, this is the same case. Syria is almost, khatam. Kuch hai nahi Syria mein abhi. Afghanistan, Taliban is ruling, just, just devastated. It's just about to ruin. मतलब लगे कि बड़े-बड़े की गांधारी का अभिशाप बदे पड़ेगा मोर ऊपर. Okay. So, bilkul this highly political instability is also related to the economic development. If people are not secure, if people are not, the national security is not there to the civilians, then how could you expect how the people will perform? How the things will establish? Suppose the foreign FDI investment is there. Foreigners are coming to the land, and if you are not secured, then how they perform that one? That is highly affected by such countries. Now come to this South American part. If I take the examples of Venezuela, let's say about the Hugo Chavez. Hugo Chavez is known as Hugo Chavez, right? Hugo Chavez is known as, in Venezuela, he is known as, like it's a famous, this president, I mean, his leadership was, is much hue and cry in the world. But in actuality, Hugo Chavez run the country in a very deficit, in a crunchy-like situation in Venezuela. Because of the faulty policies, faulty makings. I mean, people are more, oriented towards your mafia-like activities. Means, I mean, your drug addicts and we can say your heroin, these activities. So those things are, this is the political, the rules, regulation, judiciary system, all are affecting. So we cannot say a country can perform economic situation, development situation independently. It is also related, interrelated rather, we can say these factors are interrelated. We can say these factors are interrelated, highly interrelated, we can say. And this is the case of, if I say the Syria, Afghanistan, Venezuela and Mexico also, so also same things. Right? So why I am saying all these things? So India with the case if we discuss the same situations, we have a democratic setup, right? We have a democratic setup. India has, if I compare between India versus China, right? I'd love soon. India versus China. Okay. So we are having, your democratic setup. Democratic form of government. Okay. Democratic form of government. And here it is, one, we can say communism naku communist, or rather it is very true to say autocratic. Communism is, this is a pseudo. This is pseudo. Autocratic appears. It is autocratic forms. If you say the Russia tanga side re padosi, if you say Xi Jinping, or let's say your Mr. Putin, okay, Russia, they both are behaving, they adapt to the communism, but they are more autocratic. Very simple. Here we can say multi-party system. Multi-party system को बाद में आता हूँ मैं. Here we can say much liberal and empathetic. and empathetic. Much liberal and empathetic. Mane laws dealing with the people of the nation. People of the nation. Emane kon very coercive policies, very coercive, stringent, okay, policies towards to deal with the people, to deal with the citizens. So what happened? These are the things. That's again where multi-party system. So what happened? All these parameters, these two parameters, this leads to chaos because of undue advantage, because of people are taking undue advantage, and that, okay, that affects the growth of sluggish growth, or growth of, we can say, growth of economy. But here all such points, all such absence, all such point of absence, we can say all such points are absent. They are more focused. Kahinki? Since less obstacles, hence we can say rapid your economic growth. Is it okay? बुझेला एंड ऑफ दैट इज व्हाई काहेकि जेहेतु से माने वेरी स्ट्रिंजेंट, वेरी कोएर्सिव लॉज, ओके, स्ट्रिंजेंट, okay, policies or law, we can say policies or laws to deal with the citizens. Okay, so autocratic. So that is what it leads to your more focus, since less obstacles and a rapid economic growth. But here, multi-party system, liberal, empathetic, and people have taken the advantage. Chaos are more. So hence your very sluggish growth, we can say, the sluggish economic growth, that leads to your sluggish economic growth. Sluggish economic growth. Is it okay? I'd love. ठीक है जी, that is what we can say. Very good. So again coming back to this discussions कि इंडिया रे industries कौन कौन अच्छे इंडिया रे, है ना, जब हमें देखिए कौन कौन industries अच्छे. The industries in India, in Indian economy, that incorporates mainly कौन कौन? Pharmaceutical, we can say the pharmaceutical, automobiles, को factor कोड़ा, pharmaceuticals, automobiles, renewable energy, steel, cement, textiles, agriculture, healthcare, and the manufacturing. So we can say these sectors they have a very significant role in today's scenario to enhance our GDP. Okay, so the pharmaceutical industry is a fast growing sector. Basically, it's a fast growing sector. Pharmaceutical industry, there is a fast growing sector that contributes significantly to the India's exports. Okay, that contributes significantly to the India's exports. Gujarat is a hub for manufacturing and you're exporting the pharmaceuticals. अब इतने pharmaceuticals रे की Gujarat, जेमते हम कभी की who are the examples? Sun Pharma, है ना, हमारे indigenous Sun Pharma, and many Cipla, ठीक है जी, Cipla. Okay, so we can say other Punwala, there are lots of, for example, Sun Pharma is giving Cipla, that the lots of pharmaceutical, Sun, your Sun Pharma, Cipla, Sun Pharma, huge base, and Cipla, that's, they are having, जदि आज pharmaceutical industry ने बा, ये माने बहुत सारा employment generate करचोंती, pharmaceutical industries, बहुत सारा employment माने generate करचोंती pharmaceutical industries. अच्छा, खास करके गुजरात रे major तमे देखियो, if you see the many Gujarat, whether it is Ahmedabad or Surat, okay, सब जगह रे तमे देखियो कि mostly जगह रे माने they are spread of नेक्स्ट जदि देखिबा कि किए फार्मास्यूटिकल पर ऑटोमोबाइल्स इंडस्ट्रीज अच्छा यस यस सिप्ला मैनकाइंड लिपुन अल्केम यस यस बीकॉन ये सब यस इट्स वेरी गुड थैंक यू बीकॉन है ना बीकॉन का होनथला देन योर मैनकाइंड we can say these are the good industries, pharmaceutical industries. Muida, we are talking about this, these are our indigenous one pharmaceutical jodi dekhiba, these are the indigenous sector, indigenous companies. Then for example Pfizer is basically an this an western country hala, US European country. Pfizer is not Indian, it's not Indian company. Pfizer pharmaceutical company, it's not Indian company, we can say. Yes, about also Alchem also there. Okay, lots of them. Then माने सेमाने बाहरु आसुचंदी इंडिया रे इन्वेस्ट करछन because why so pharmaceuticals industry, why so boom up, why so boom up, कोन पई why so boom? It is because of large population base, okay, large population base that leads to such large population base, we can say, right? Then see the automobiles. India is one of the world's largest automobile markets. World re jette bhi achan ta bhitor India hala one of the world's largest automobile markets. Largest. Why? Because more the population, more the requirement. It कहले कि India is the world's largest automobile markets because more the population, more the requirement. Right? This is the thing we can say. This sector includes manufacturing of two-wheelers, trucks, and your auto components. Two-wheelers, manufacturers of two-wheelers, commercial trucks, and the auto companies. Commercial trucks and the auto companies, they are basically. अच्छा इंडिया रे वर्तमान जदि देखियो टू व्हीलर अपेक्षा फोर व्हीलर लोक समस्त चढ़ुछन बेसी काहे की it is again it's a kind of requirement, changing lifestyles, changing climatic pattern, we can say this one. So India maximum, in fact India ettu kariki bi sell pathauch South East nation also getting the automobiles. So ame kahi pare ki major industries that the pharmaceutical automobiles do have the major contributions, we can say, right? Next we'll come to the your renewable energy sector. Renewable energy sector, just a minute, पानी पी ले. कौन दिखवा renewable energy sector रे? A growing sector that can create job opportunities in rural areas. It's a growing sector that can create job opportunities in rural areas. It also provide opportunities for investors and entrepreneurs. वर्तमान देखिए कि coming decades are the renewable decades are the dominance of a renewable sector. काहे की that is going to shift of this, that is going and shift renewable sector जदि कहबा हमें renewable energy, okay, renewable energy माने renewable energy जदि देखिबा कि renewable energy जदि हमें देखिबा दीटा हला. renewable energy means I mean these energy never exhaust, okay, and there is plenty of availability. There is plenty of availability. Plenty of availability, I can say. For examples, we can say never exhausted. We click on never. They are never exhausted, right? Never exhausted. We can say. Example: solar energy, wind energy, tidal, hydro, geothermal, bio. Okay, these are the etc. These we can say dedicate to this your renewable source of energy. But on the solar energy, solar energy जब तुम कहोगे कि Suzlon is leading, Suzlon Private Limited. Okay, this company is leading. Rajasthan are a very big base. Rajasthan re big plant. It's set up a big plant in Suzlon energy. Also in Kadapa in Andhra Pradesh also. Sir, India, despite being a global pharmaceutical hub, still depends on China for active pharmaceuticals ingredients that are essential for manufacturing. Kindly explain. See, आज भी जदि देखियो तमे, जदि again, जंतु for examples कोई भी, बढ़िया question पचला. I love China का थम पचली. China रे one use there Yuhan. Sorry. China one industry I'm talking about this is Yuhan, right? Yuhan is a city जोटा कि मैं just tracing back. Yuhan खाली मन रखता हूँ. China is basically much ahead in R&D sector, माने research and development, okay, scientific invention, molecular biology, these are all China is leading R&D sector. For example, let's say R&D sector is China is much ahead in your R&D sector. कौन problem मुझे again? तो कहले कि pharmaceutical ingredients बिल्कुल suppose गोटे मु कहबी कि your now the discipline is bad. Let's say another we are talking about this one your gas tablet. Let's say okay, pantoprazole or let's say they are making. So China is what they are giving. They're much ahead in the R&D sector in scientific innovations and the molecular biology, where India is lagging in some cases. That one. For that to for assemblage that one, they have to laboratory जो देखियो हमें China is expertise in laboratory your invention laboratory sector. India in compared to जब हम कहें R&D sector में India काफी lagging करची. They are much higher that one because their R&D sector, their science technology and their your molecular biology. For example, if I say your invention of your artificial sun, कहीं के हमारे India रे पर कहीं के जिनसे रहा होची because they are in their budget. If I say in their budget, maximum allocation is there. In their budget, maximum allocation is there. Maximum allocations, but if you compare maximum allocations in their budget, but in India India is still lagging. But we cannot leave the hope. धीरे धीरे वर्तमान global hub हवा को बसलानी. We cannot say that India is completely eradicated of all such. We cannot say completely India is eradicated of such or India is not doing that one. Yes, of course, in the coming time India is going to do that one. माने धीरे धीरे करछोंदी एंड इनफैक्ट बजेटरी जदि हम देखिबा कि आहुरी भी आगु को बजेट रे हमरो माने ए सब जो लैक्यूनेस जो अछि दिस लैक्यूनेस is going to fill up. This lacuna we can say. So China is much ahead in that one in case. हला इंडिया रे मेजर जदि हम कहबा कि ना populations policies, there are lots of things. India is a bit chaotic in compared to that one what we have previously discussed. So that is why we are depending pharmaceuticals जदि हमें देखिबा सेटा, but धीरे धीरे हमें एटा भी कहबानी we should not leave hope that no, India is not going to do, India आगु करिबन, but in the coming days much there is a revive. We are not dependent on the other markets. In fact, every sector we are going to you are going to जदि गोटे अच्छी गोटे SEZ, you know, spatial economic zones we can say, spatial economic zone. So spatial economic zones रे जदि हम देखिबा कि इंडिया वर्तमान ईस्ट वेस्ट नॉर्थ साउथ हला, ईस्ट वेस्ट एपटा ईस्ट वेस्ट हला, एंड एपटे ऑलरेडी नॉर्थ एंड साउथ. So spatial economic zones and economic hub is going to, you know, segregated into different parts. So in the coming time we will much expect that this dependency on China and the other part US is much, and in fact the it is the, you know, we can say the this is the evidence is there. केमती evidence अच्छी during COVID, कौन कहबे during COVID India, okay, was leading. India took leadership in supplying Covishield, okay, Covishield vaccine. Sorry, Covishield vaccine. We can say Covishield vaccine. Who country की? To Europe, Africa, North America, South America, entirely. See, China तो बिल्कुल भी नहीं. China is completely secluded. In fact, the, you know, the epicenter of this one, ये जो Wuhan laboratory कथा कहीं कोई, they are very, you know, very research. से तो ही तुम्हारा virus बाहर, they know how to destroy. That is one thing. They are very developed. माने से much ahead that one. Because of this your the setup. So Europe, Africa है नहीं, entire European country amount नोतले chloroquine medicines है, we can say chloroquine, chloroquine India supply to your पूरा US को पूरा supply करचे chloroquine, right? We can say this one. And you know, this our India रे किए एटी जदि हम कहबी Serum Institute है, Serum Institute, we said that Serum Institute of Adhyayan Wallah, Mr. Adhyayan Wallah, they played a very significant role in, you know, to developing the terms. How come you say this? India is now, we are, you know, overcoming the shortfalls in the coming time. So definitely it will work magic for this one. Of course, China is much ahead because again I will say they are very autocratic. I mean they are very stringent. Laws are very stringent. Almost same like Kali mu padutuli. Yeah, this North Korea TB is banned. One person who came, you know, out from this North Korea and he said that TB is banned. Or जदि वो TB थो गोटी antenna हो, we can only watch the 𝐻𝐿 So, you know, autocratic this one. Is it okay? I'd love any questions further. Shall I proceed? Any questions? Okay. Any questions? So agu jiba puni. Next come to the, you know, renewable source of energy we have already discussed. Okay, good. Renewable source रे हमें देखिए कि renewable source of energy we have discussed this one, that how a renewable source रे solar energy, this now wind energy, you know, tidal, hydro, geothermal, bio, you know, that बहुत सारा, you know, upcoming sectors. These are renewable. These are the coming decades are the, you know, decades of coming your this renewable energy. Next we'll say steel. The iron and steel industry is considered as a backbone of the India's industrial sector. Again, next we'll see. Yes, iron and steel industry is considered as the backbone of the India's industrial sector and Indian economy. Yes, I'd love. Okay, and Indian economy we can say. Iron and steel, for example, you know, SAIL is the pioneering of this ones. SAIL rekhi, Steel Authority of India Limited. Steel Authority of India Limited, we can say. Steel Authority of India Limited. we can say. SAIL, Steel Authority of India Limited. Major iron steel plants are located in the peninsular regions. Kota kota mu steel industry. Let's talk about the steel industry. Kon dekhiba steel industry mu kahibi India re steel industry. Who are the leading steel industry? Peninsular India re jodi ame dekhiba peninsular India re ki achi? Who are this? Peninsular India re. If I say, if you'll say this one, peninsular India re ki rahiba? This is one part. SAIL is there. This is cluster. This is peninsular India. If I talk about the SAIL, Steel Authority of India Limited. This is the SAIL cluster. One is your SAIL Rahobity, Steel Authority. Steel Authority of India Limited. Steel Authority of India Limited. Koti SAIL ra. Eastern part is dekhiba. Eastern part re. Koti achi. Eastern part re India re. Rourkela steel plant, Amara, Odisha. Rourkela steel plant. This is Odisha, Rourkela steel plant. Then Bokaro, Jharkhand. Then your Vilai steel plant, Chhattisgarh. West Bengal re kijibo. Your Durgapur, then Banpur, West Bengal. These are the eastern part. Southern re kijibo. Who are the in southern re? Southern steel plant. South re kijibo. Visvesvaraya eti. ठीक है Visvesvaraya steel plant in Visvesvaraya steel plant, that is in Karnataka. Private steel industry and the private Tata Steel private sector government sector this is government PSU say eti Tata Steel, Jindal Steel, then Mesco, okay, then your Mittal Steel, and lots of various and small scale industry. So steel got a बहुत बड़ा sector, major. Steel is a major sector in India that provides huge employment to the in India, huge employment we can say. Next come to the your textiles. Textiles also directly or indirectly it is also one of the major generator, means employment generator we can say, textile industries. Okay, this is mainly Indian textiles are basically agro based, they are basically agro based, right? They are basically agro based. One of the oldest industries in India dating back to the several centuries we can say. Agro based mane kon again? Cotton, then jute, silk, major cotton, jute and silk, high demand in the in the global market. Again, the industry includes your hand woven textiles and as well as the sophisticated mills. Hand spoon, hand woven and the sophisticated mills we can say. The textile industries has a huge base. We can say this is your cotton, jute and the silk industries. Right? Cotton, jute and the silk industry we can say. Use they generate together, they generate your huge employment, right? Huge employment we can say. Together they generate huge employment. Next come to textile pore. Next come to your agriculture. So a point रे हमें केमते लिखवा a cornerstone of the Indian economy agrotech solutions are revolutionizing these are traditional sectors agriculture also agro based industries हमें लिखि परिबा हैला agriculture sector जेमते फॉर कहबी कि sugar cane based industry okay sugar cane based industries right sugar cane based industries. Next to the healthcare con that is also again pharmaceuticals industry also poised your emerge as a global hub for distinct advantage of the clinical excellence and low cost clinical excellence re then for examples mu kahibi ki treatment for the eye hala treatment of eye that is your some microsurgery there is no open surgery there is microsurgery. Let's say if I took the examples of appendicitis earlier there is cut the stomach and the remove the gallbladder but there is no laparoscopic is there microsurgery. Let's say examples of I am talking about the laparoscopic. Okay, so this is an instrument technology this your high this industries your instruments upgraded instruments instrumental technology we can say right. So these are the things we can say right. Acha these are the things we can say the this sector. What questions kariba hela what questions kariba chali mo point koi debi kon jaga re and how we will proceed for that one. Highlight the major clusters of Indian iron and steel industries and their contributions. Kemti tame proceed kariba how will proceed for these questions. Highlight the major clusters of Indian iron and steel industries and their contributions. Kon okay kon likhiba eti prathame गोटे डायग्राम प्रथम करियो मेक ए डायग्राम रे तमे एठी देखिबो जोटा एटा आउ टिके पूर्व जोटा कहितले गोटे कोन देखिबो छोटा नागपुर एरिया प्लेट्यू एरिया हैला छोटा नागपुर रीजन देखे दो देन इंडिया रा आ गोटी अछि दिस इज योर धारावाड़ रीजन एमती करिक तमे लिखिबो पर्टिकुलरली प्रथम डायग्राम इज वेरी मच एसेंशियल गोटे कला बळे डायग्राम तमे देखिबो एट जिंस गोटा हम क्लास रे दिस इज द वे दैट वी आर गोइंग फॉर दैट वन. छोटा नागपुर रीजन रे कोन रहउची वी कैन से राइट द छोटा नागपुर एरिया छोटा नागपुर plateau region is blessed with good iron ore okay good iron ore coal manganese chromite etc. okay this leads to set up of your industries right. pdf कोड मिलुची pdf जोटा कि देखो एटा जो हमरो अछि हमरो फिजिक्स वाला जोटा करा होची ऑफिस वाला रे एटा तमरो दिस इज एन ओपन सेशन एवरीवन कैन वॉच दिस YouTube रे ओके तो तुमको सेटा YouTube रे प्रोवाइड हो प्लस जदी तुम क्लास रे पुनी देखिबो जदी दिस क्लास रे ऑलरेडी वी हैव दिस वन okay class जदी तुम देखिबो कि this is the Sarv Saksham batch is running on right Sarv Saksham batch is going on Sarv Saksham batch re is a properly will go for as per syllabus as per new syllabus hisab re hame jaau as per syllabus right as per syllabus we are going on. So everything after class we'll get this PDF class notes recorded video everything is available this in this Sarv Saksham batch and also मुख्य पॉइंट तमरो OCS मेंस रा सेtre भी चलची we can get about this ones right ठीक अछि. सो इत्ते सारा ऑफर खाली इठी नो एसएससी सीजीएल होची दिस एसो पाई में बैच आरंभ होईची अध्ययन योर जाबाज पुलिस सब जिंस ओके. अच्छा पुनी हम एबे डिस्कस करथिले कि जे को जगह रे सो एटी तमे लिखि परियो दिस आर द क्लस्टर्स मेजर क्लस्टर्स ऊपर आ जोडा हम डिस्कस करले वी कैन से छोटा नागपुर प्लेट्यू रु तमे लिखि परियो सेल रे वर्तमान लिखिलो छोटा नागपुर प्लेट्यू एरिया रे वी कैन डिस्कस this okay छोटा नागपुर region कौन अच्छी छोटा नागपुर रे तमर रेस्पेक्टिव प्लांट्स वी कैन से प्लांट्स जमती राउरकेला स्टील प्लांट आरएसपी बोकारो है स्टील प्लांट्स आम लिखि परिबा है आरएसपी राउरकेला स्टील प्लांट बोकारो इटा में लिखिले बोकारो स्टील प्लांट है बोकारो इज इन झारखंड then your Vilai in Chhattisgarh then we can say Durgapur and Banpur in West Bengal we can say this one एपटे जदि धारावाड़ देखिबा कोन धारावाड़ सेम धारावाड़ रे हम देखिबा this is your Visvesvaraya plant Visvesvaraya plant steel plant eka sangar mu कहबी then this is your Salem steel plant in Tamil Nadu Salem steel plant so this is your Karnataka and this is your Tamil Nadu all together they contribute kon करजंती huge your maximum generation of employment आमे कहि परबो employment होची generation maximum employment एमान दोचंती both direct and indirect आउ कोन हो then next आउ कोन हिरे पे your manufacturing of steels and selling manufacturing of steels and selling at and selling them at and selling money I mean export items apart from your domestic export mainly steel roche हमर export steel mainly आउ कोन हे परिबो your related service industry is growing up we can say is growing up so all these parameters this lead to your higher economic growth we can say higher economic growth or that leads to higher GDP that leads to increase in GDP so this is the contributions we can say this both these major clusters have decided jodi kariba so these are the things I'd love for questions ku sir with the growing cry for the zero carbon emission norms and rising unemployment how can India reconcile the aforementioned factors in industrial policy as slow move towards the industrial 4.0 era my goodness very good question see theoretical is a different part but practical is a different part economic development is very much essential for the growth of the country अगर हम economic development नहीं करेंगे तो हम लोग मतलब what should we eat what is our who is going to be our cost means I mean country's cost there are so many free schemes we are in a social to upliftment of the social sectors money कहाँ जाएगा where the will bring the money see the Russia-Ukraine war everything inflation is very high because this one to run the industries we need the higher your energy sector we need the fuels so that is fine unemployment and carbon emission is one side but development agenda is another side we cannot you cannot make a barrier for the economic growth that is very much inevitable rather how India can reconcile the upper middle reconciliation should be there that shifting of from these energy sectors we can say rather these industries I guess that after a 2 decade India is much more I mean we are committed in the Paris Convention about the 0% carbon emissions by 2070 or 2030 50% almost we have achieved near about 30% we have already achieved by 2000 before 2030 so there must be shifting of these fossil based fuels to your renewable source of energy, that is one line. Afforestation program also then one line. Achha, shifting of renewable source of means we are much more of solar energy, like Japan we can say, take the examples. We can use the EV batteries, like that is why the just see the how Prime Ministers went to meet the Mr. Elon Musk. So that is what the things we can say, and the most highlighting that one hydrogen energy, hydrogen fuel cell. All these factors we can say definitely there is a transition phase that definitely agreed that unemployment may increase, but in the coming time, if you are focusing or your India is shifting is based towards your this renewable source of energy, and the, particularly industries also shifting towards this. And rather we are instead of this automobile sector is remain, but it is more focused towards your this green vehicles. Means I mean your battery cells vehicles and the hydrogen fuel cells vehicles. Rather, the parts of the vehicles they'll manufacture in those parts, we can say. So of course it will take time, and we have to bear this one and meticulously design that one. Okay, so accordingly we can face this challenge. India is going to face this challenge, and afford this industrial sector also will slowly revive this from this transition phase, and in the new era is definitely is going for an blessed India for the industrial sector. Okay, ठीक अच्छी आज पे एतिक रे we'll meet again. Is it okay? Adlaf, is it okay? Is it okay to everyone? Okay, thank you. Listen, again we'll meet, and Jovan again once again I just say I'm just trying to say that one कि OPSC वाला तरफ जोटा कि हमारा provide करा होची OCS ପାଇଁ सर्व सक्षम batch which is only 4999. SSC CGL पे महापैक 2.2, and this awaiting ASO is just already started here किस दिन होगा. Okay, that is only 1299, and Adhyayan batch and Jabaaz police batch, and this mukhya for OCS mains writing by. Okay, mains answer writing by. This is going to be jahara bhi gote government job gote dream thai, definitely very affordable price one can reach that one. Okay, thank you so much, thank you everyone, thank you so much for your patience. We'll meet again. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Thank you.